In this video, I'm going to show you the new layer manager for Altia Design 11.1. Now, in previous videos and also in the documentation, we talked about what each and every attribute of a display object does. So this video won't readdress that portion, but what it will do is introduce you to the new way to manipulate display objects using the layer manager. So previously, you had to set an active layer and then adjust your layer properties here using the properties pane. Well, that's still technically an option, but this new layer manager pane is dedicated solely to setting up your layers within a display object. As you can see, every property of every layer is available for immediate tweaking in this nice grid layout. And we have a brand new thing called layer groups, which allows you to define a construct of a screen within a given display object. So this is a fairly simple display object of true production HMI with hardware-based layers. You can have maybe hundreds of layers for the entire GUI, and it's very difficult using just the properties pane to keep track of what comprises a screen. Okay, so you don't need properties pane up anymore. You can just use the layer manager as long as you have your display object selected. Let's just say that somebody's already written a header file that tells you that for the home screen you've got layer 0 visible, layer 1 visible, and layer 5 visible, and these are all the attributes for that layer. That has to be described by logic or some sort of paradigm in the past. Well, now the layer manager gives you the ability to create a layer group. So I can just say new layer group and call this home, and it will remember the display object configured exactly like this for the home screen. Now this GUI already has some little logic to switch screens and show different layers when you click buttons, and that's fine, but what I can do now is every time I bring up a screen, whether it already exists from this logic or I make it from scratch, I can now name these. So I can now do pressure, and then maybe I go to the engine screen and call that engine. And again, you can navigate to existing screens that are powered by logic, or you can create brand new screens with layer groups. Okay, right now I'm just giving each one of my existing screen configurations a layer group so that it's easy to bounce between them with or without any logic. Okay, one more here, photos. Okay, the reason I did this is to show you that once you've defined these, look at all these show hide icons for the visibility. They're perfectly keeping track whenever I change it. And what I can do here with my finger, I can also do via the API. So the API is free to change screens just that quickly by setting the value of the current layer group. It will change screens for us. Further, what's really cool is I can take elements of a certain screen, duplicate it, and call this splash screen. It's going to use the same layers as the home screen, but watch what I can do. I can start turning off the layers I don't want, and then come up and adjust the layer's current X. I can use it with the roller mouse or press and hold the arrow keys and just kind of place it somewhere where it looks pretty centered. It doesn't have to be perfect. But then I can update the layer group, and now home is like this, splash is like this, but they're both using layer 1. It's just that the X and Y are now changed. But you can set it up to look like this. So no matter what you're doing, trying to play with ideas or playing around with the GUI, as soon as you click this, it's back to how you defined it, which is really nice. So just as that simple example, your splash screen could just be faded in from 0 to 255. And then as soon as that is done, right, tell the API to go from group ID 5 to group ID 0. And there you go. It's up to you how you animate and fade things in. The idea is this layer manager gives you easy access to all your layers and allows you to benefit by taking pieces of individual screens and duplicating them and modifying them. And the layer groups not only show what is available in each layer group, but allow you to commonize pieces of your GUI across multiple screens. Okay, so again, we won't get into each one of these columns, what every one of these does, because that's been covered both in the user manual and in the previous display object video. What I wanted to concentrate on this video is the new layer manager pane, why it's so cool and how you can use it. Again, make those layer groups, use elements across multiple screens, but tweak them. Tweak the same layer in different layer groups to have it be positioned differently, or maybe slightly translucent, have it enter in a different way powered by logic. It's just really a great new interface to the layers the properties and attributes of those layers and the commonization of those layers with this new construct of a layer group that defines screens.